Jesus. Oh, good God. That scared the hell out of me. Hey, everybody. Here we are trying to get to the conclusion here of, or get a big step further on finishing up this pickup. So I'm going to kind of work and talk at the same time. So, I got the last video up, and there's like a zillion things that I didn't, that I ended up cutting out because the way I was trying to do these videos before was that I was kind of shooting everything I did, then trying to edit it into, you know, a little video, and it's just not working at all. So I'm gonna try to kind of come up with a better way of doing things, mainly because I'm just so freaking short on time these days that I kind of have to you know, make this stuff happen. So one of the big things that I cut out was that I was trying really hard to use this this giant base plate that it had. That it was really cool that they, the makers of the pickup, used one base plate, and they used one side for bass and another side for guitar. And I really wanted to use this mainly for like philosophical reasons, but it just was not happening. I only had 4 screws because it was a bass. I thought I had identical screws that I could use. I did not. I couldn't find screws that I really liked. It was just one thing after another. So I just had to not be hung up on this anymore. What else? And like a big thing was like, I tried to find these screws that it was a mess. So that all got cut out, and honestly, I shouldn't have shot it in the first place. I probably shouldn't have done it in the first place, but anyway, we're moving on. So the other thing is that, let's see, get him turned on. So I'm just kind of going to try doing things a little bit differently from here on out. What that really translates to, I don't know. The other thing is that I think like a big chunk of the video was me picking out a magnet and then like making the bobbin. Well, that magnet did not work because it ended up, I wound it like the next day, and it ended up only being the most wire that I could get onto it with the space that I was allotted. It only was 5K. And I wanted it to be higher than that. I wanted it to be in like 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", with 43 gauge wire. So I found another magnet, went through the same process with that magnet, made a bobbin, and wound it on the winder here, which I do that in some of the other videos, and you can imagine what it is. But it ended up being like right at 6'2". So I got it on there. It's ready to go. You just saw me gluing it on there. So I had to ditch this base plate and just kind of move on with my life. So I had a bunch of these base plates here, laser cut, that I use for a bunch of different things. And I ended up just using it because I got it laser cut so that it will fit a humbucker, and it will also fit in a P90. The geometry is a little different, but it'll fit. But one side is 52 millimeter, the other side is 50 millimeter. I'm able to use the 50 millimeter. I'm able to print out on my 3D printer this little pole piece holder that'll kind of keep the whole pole pieces snug and not vibrating around. So there we are. I actually did, I got those little tabs, came right off. I was able to get in there with my Dremel and bust them loose. So they're gone. What do I got? I got that. This is basically the whole pickup right here. I just need to put the lead on, which is right here. I've got this little insert that I was working on today that I laser cut that's actually going to go in there. And let me try to get it where you can get a good look at it. Let me try to cover up this light. Golly, it's not, I'm not going to be able to cover it up. There, that's pretty decent. You get the idea. The pole pieces will come up through there. I went with black. I think it looks pretty cool. A little tougher than gold foil. And if anything, I can probably do with less gold foil in my life. Okay, so that's, and the thing I figured out is that it took me kind of some trial and error to get this right on the laser cutter. And I was actually having a lot harder time than I expected. But then I looked closely and I saw that the stamping is a little bit crooked. I mean, like a half of a degree. The 4 slots here are kind of cocked. Just enough for me to lose my mind a little bit more than I already have. Okay, so all that stuff is ready to go. The guy who's getting this pickup, he wanted me to use this 2-conductor wiring, which means that there is 2 leads, 2 wires, plus a dedicated ground. And it's shielded wire. It's nice stuff. It's probably the least attractive wiring that you can use, but it's clean, and if you do a good job, it looks clean and it looks fine. But once you get in there, this is what you have. This is what you end up with. This lighting is so bad. What am I gonna do? Hopefully you guys can get it. Black, white, and then this bare. God, this is, what am I? This is so bad. I'm such a ding dong. I can't do anything about it. I don't think I can move over here. Now the window is going to be, it's going to be all the same problems, but with the window instead of, but the window's not so bad. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing though. Lord. How did I have this set up the other day? It was right. It was pointing the exact same. Calgon, take me away! This is probably the sort of the moments that I shouldn't be, that I don't need to be filming at all, is the thing. But, you know, I like having you around, imaginary YouTube viewer. All right, so basically that's a functional guitar pickup right there. Let's just double check here real quick and see if this thing still works. I am expecting that it will. The 2-conductor wire is good because it keeps the coil is not by default connected to ground. Like in a standard humbucker, everything is grounded, but the start of the south coil, the start of the pickup, if you will, is it goes to ground. In a tele pickup, the start grounds to the base plate. A Strat, there's nothing there to ground it to. So it doesn't go to ground. So with the 2-conductor wire, you have the start of the coil and the end of the coil going to this black and this white. And then the ground, the bare ground is separate. And then there's this like metallic tape that goes around it. That's a sheath for the Thank God this thing has an auto off. I'd go out of business buying batteries. Beautiful, beautiful. Still good. All right, so I probably just edited out this like 10 minutes where I discovered that this pickup cover, and this is rare, this is the first one I've encountered, but I know it's a thing. This pickup cover is stainless steel, and I could not get solder to stick to it at all. And I wasn't crying on camera. I excused myself like a man and got into the fetal position over there on the other side of the basement, the crying side of the basement. I think it was an old Ray Price song, the crying side of the basement. So, but luckily I got some new flux just the other day, soldering flux, which you're probably supposed to use on everything you solder, but again, I'm not. And I was able to get this shit to stick. So now I've kind of got the cover is tinned, if you will. Well, I think if you will. Pretty sure I'm using that term correctly. So now we're going to see if we can actually get these to flow together, and I can get this base plate to attach to the cover. Just gonna all right, got that tinned a little bit. Let's get this side a little, because this is the side where it all started to go wrong. All right, now, hopefully, sounds like Marshall's home. Hopefully Marshall's Marshall sounds a little upset. All right, okay. Everything looks like it lines up. And we're gonna need to clamp this back together. I'll try to get this one center here. Man, they're having a big old time upstairs. All right. Again, we got out the annihilator here. If you want one like mine, just call up the good people at Weller.
There's a snow emergency declared.
Are you shitting me?
Oh, you're there?
Yeah, I'm doing a video. I'll come up in a second. Is it for tomorrow, right?
Well, tonight into tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Tonight, 6 p.m.
Oh, shit. There's my lovely wife, Katie. Well, I'll be goddamned. Wow. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do anything with this pickup. And honestly, the way they had the cover grounded was through those tabs that I cut off immediately before trying to assemble it. Really bizarre. And then there was also this piece. This pickup was really strange the way it was put together. I mean, it wasn't anything, you know, super odd or exotic, but it was just, this pickup was very much bolted together instead of like soldered together, you know, which is much more common, obviously. Okay, and I could not be happier with how, oh, for goodness sakes. Just stop, just, here, shit. Here, this is better. All right, I could not be happier with how the poles are nice and lined up there. All right, so I might as well put in the rest of these so I get to see what it looks like. But then we need to put a, you know, obviously there's no way to mount this pickup yet. So Katie says there's going to be another snow emergency. I can't deal with it. We'll just have to see what happens. You know, our fate. I wonder if they had, you know, it's like our fate is with Odin. I guess Odin is kind of the god of snow. If he's not the god of snow, I feel like it's probably his wheelhouse. Flux. Beautiful, beautiful flux. And it also that turned out pretty good. God, this light is killing me. All right, so that's what the pickup's going to look like. And I'm really happy with that. Now we just need to get the mounting ears on there. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so I get out the guillotine. I'm trying to show you this. This crazy Harbor Freight metal shear. It's just like, it's like those little hand shears, but 9 times bigger. And what I do, I've been doing this a bunch and it works out great. I've got just a humbucker base plate, and then I slice the sides off so that I just have the mounting ears. And if I can keep this is going to be hard to do. I'm trying to do it on the stool so you guys can see it. If I can keep if I'm lucky, then I can just leave it intact and I don't have to like cut it and move it. And we'll just see if I'm going to be able to do that. Here's where Rob cuts his. This thing is so sharp and heavy. He would lose. It's so freaking heavy if I dropped it on my foot. That'd be funny. Like the way it's like if you dropped an axe, but the handle like hit your big toe and broke it. Like not the you know what I mean? Like not the is that going to be wide enough? I think this is just like 1/8 of an inch too narrow, which is a drag, but okay, so we're just gonna have to cut it in half. But this is what you end up with. You see, I just cut the ends off, so I've got it's nice nickel silver. I'll clean it up with a file, make it look nice. But on this one, I'm going to have to split it and then make it a little bit wider. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back. All right, okay, I got these chopped up. I chopped them up, cleaned them up, made them look nice and smooth. I've got the bottom scuffed up. I've got this thing scuffed up. I'm actually going to kind of stick them on there with a couple drops of super glue, and then I'll solder them. Is that how I want to do this? Do I want to do this that way? Yeah, I'll also clamp them, but I'll just get them started with the super glue. Yep, come on. All right, that's good. That's on there. All right, that's on there. Don't know where to go. It's quite easy. I don't have any screw screws here, but. All right. Since the brush is done, all right, I need. Let's see. All right. Those are glued on. Unfortunately, that will not be enough to. I need my big spring clamp. I cannot believe I've misplaced it. Who knows where? Oh, this one will be fine. Okay. All right. I need to take these two out. These two middle poles so I can get these. Oh, wrong way. Broke it. God, I am 5 minutes away from having this pickup done. This pickup resisted my efforts. More than they have in a while, but we're getting close to the finish line. So, all right, before I do that, looks good to me. Marshall just figured out how to play the harmonica. I like, you know, breathe in, blow into it, and then inhale through it. All right, so now we're just going to solder these tabs onto all right, one. I usually like, if I can, it's usually kind of better to solder this on before you put, you know, because I've got the coil. Well, this is completely assembled, but I've got the coil glued to the other side of this steel that I'm soldering on, and I'm not going to get it hot enough to really burn up the coil, but anything you have like on whatever you're soldering, it's acting as a heat sink, so it's just making it harder to solder. If it was just, you know, if it was just the base plate and the little ears, it wouldn't be a problem. There. All right. Okay. One more on this side, then I gotta do 4 more on the other. So. we're back. We're all soldered up. If this reads correct, if we're not fried. Yeah, it's super high now because I got it all really hot. All right, make sure we got no continuity to the, no continuity. Holy shit, man. All right, so I got this cable kind of got, I was worried that it was getting too hot. Okay, so this thing is done. I'm going to lacquer pot. I'm going to lacquer pot this. I was just looking at it. Nothing's wrong. It's perfect. What would I be looking at? Okay. I'm going to lacquer pot this guy. So I'm taking the pole screws out so that I can put them back in once it's done lacquer potting. I like to do that because when you're either if you're lacquer potting or if you're lacquer potting, forget it. But if you're lacquer potting or wax potting, okay, so check it out. I know it's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but those tabs are soldered on to the base plate. So this thing is rock solid now. The pole pieces are always the hardest thing to clean after you've potted it. So I just take them out. And also I feel like if I'm taking the pole pieces in and out a bunch of times, the holes will kind of get chewed up and stuff. And especially when I'm lacquer potting, once it's potted and that cures, it'll kind of tighten up the hole a little bit. Doesn't really work that way with wax potting. Let's see here. Where's the wax or lacquer? Okay, this lacquer looks gross and gray and horrible and stuff because it is. Because this is just what I use for potting. Probably wouldn't want to paint a guitar with this, but all right, is this ready to go in there? It's ready to go in there. Look at that. A little deeper than it needs to be, but all right. 30 minutes in there, and then it'll be done. All right, so I tried to have the camera in the same spot so that I would, I don't know, do like a clock visual effect. But I bumped the camera, and then I had to answer an email. So nothing super riveting about this. It's been 30 minutes taking it out of the lacquer, and it's just got to cure. 3 days is good because this isn't like spraying the guitar body where you spray a thin coat and then it's done. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but something big just hit the floor. All right, I'm good with this, man. I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy that this thing is done. So the guy can get his pickup, although I've got a whole another set of pickups I got to do for this guy. Okay, so there it is. Basically, all that's going to end up happening is once that's cured, I'll clean it up with some lacquer thinner, and it'll be done, and I can send it to the guy. I'll shoot some pics, and hopefully we'll get some sound clips up at some point in the future. Might have to wait till he gets the guitar done, But that is it for episode 5 and this pickup. Thank God. This one almost did me in. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye.